A week ago, we lost one of ours, great thespian by the name Junior Pope, yes, while on a mission to shoot a certain movie behind the back of the river. Yes, on his way back, because he had done a day, on his way back on the second day, the boat was said to have, crashed on another boat, yes, and capsized. And that was how himself and several others lost their lives, the crew and the cast, makeup artists, lightmen, and, lots of them. So ever since his death, last week there has been this talk, an expose of many kinds of worms having to do with how Nollywood treats theirs, especially actors, crew members, and what have you. Now, most of us don't know that, a whole lot happened behind the scene. The actors are the faces you see, but there are people out there who actually make the magic happen. You know what I mean? Yeah, they make the magic happen for you to actually get the whole thing intact, yes. They call them the crewmen. You have the production manager, the PM, you have the, you have all of them, though, yeah. It's a teamwork, yes. And they are all complaining. Some people are complaining on their behalf because some are scared to speak because of fear of being blacklisted and what have you. So is this good enough for Nollywood? Hence the title you are going to see right now on the screen, Safety of Cast and Crew in Nollywood. I'm not alone. I've got right here with me a veteran, a thespian. I mean, he has been there, he's seen it all, he's done it all, he has conquered. He goes by the name Sam Obiakame. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good to have you once again right here.
Yeah.
It's always great, having you on set with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, when it comes to time like this to discuss, Nollywood and the way forward. Quickly, let me say very, very sorry on the loss of one of yours. One of us, actually, because we're all one. We're in the arts, and we just hope it doesn't happen again. Hence, we're doing this morning right here on the show. Now, quickly, before we dive into what we have on ground, let's go here. What the sailor, this very particular guy was the one that sailed the boat while returning back from where they went to shoot the movie on the second day that capsized. Fortunately, he survived, but others didn't survive. Let's hear him out as he explains to us how it happened. And we'll be right back.
See guys, sit down there. Junior Pope yesterday.
But Junior Pope no get to Melinda. Na me carry them for boat, but Junior Pope no get to Melinda. Na I carry to Melinda. So they say Junior Pope make video, you no make any video. Junior Pope no make any video.
So why na not get life jacket?
Then they make a higher life jacket. Junior Pope say no get money. Say the producer supposed to bring money when they go use higher life jacket.
So why na no call producer?
We call the producer now, okay? You don't understand. We call the producer. The producer say the thing not even there for script. Anything enter inside what I don't do for script.
So how did you manage to come out?
The way we use manage to come out now, as that thing happen, now see me now. See that guy now maybe had tattoo with the night bell. I'm normally not forget about say today now this one. That guy not supposed to night bell for that day. University they call him or for this one. Market day. That guy go the night bell. Me, I want to consider the way that, but now I'm carry everything come put for my head, saying that me cause everything.
So how you then come out?
How you manage come out?
And before they walk boats now, I know how to swim.
Oh, you just swim.
I just swim.
You sabi swim, but you don't fit bring am out.
How many people go bring us? Now me save the guy with their life, but that guy not saying save. Now me save him. I mean save that guy with their life. No be that guy not declare saying save him.
So why not do the ritual again?
No, before we enter, just carry my point. Before we enter, we throw the Melinda, only Bishop Pope and 4 other guests no be do. They say they be child of God. You understand? If you watch for now, Bishop Pope be motor day for front. If you watch him, that's why they come carry and go hospital. Since why I never come out come talk this thing, people don't tell me say I make cause everything. Someone can come out.
You carry and go hospital.
No. Now many boys, everybody they follow carry, but the producer, the china producer never come.
So who pays for the hospital bills?
Now Regina.
All right, so you heard the man, like I said, he sailed the boat that got involved in that very tragic incident on that very fateful day. Now, sir, you heard what he said.
Yeah.
Junior Pope and others, according to him out there, said they wouldn't wear life jackets. You know what I mean? Because it was dirty or so. And while others were doing some rituals before embarking on the trip, they said as well that they were children of God. That without spirit, that's spiritual now, though. Yeah. So now let's look at it from this angle. Does Nollywood ever think about safety? Because in every aspect of life, there are always areas where you might get injured if you don't put safety measures on ground. So does Nollywood ever think about safety while going on a production?
I would say yes, and I would say no.
Okay.
Yes, because one, the industry, I was once a national provost, and the duty of the national provost is to check those areas of safety. And again, I want to enlighten my viewers. The film production, the actors are raw materials. The casts, as a whole, they are raw materials. The crew are the ones that are in charge of the production. And when we talk about the crew, the major persons in production are the producers and the executive producers. But they employ a production manager to take care of the going out and coming in of everything that happens on set. So I would say the production manager was actually responsible for anything that happened that day. Probably not deliberate. And again, you see in production, some of our artists that are popular, so to say, they are very, sometimes can be very, very arrogant. They don't take to rules and regulations that are on set. And if you try to check them, some of them, they get annoyed and abandon the set. And most producers will not encourage that because one, a lot of money is involved already. And if he or she leaves that set, you may not achieve what you want to achieve that day. So sometimes you have to pamper them. That is on that. Talking about what happened that day, it would have been taken care of if the production manager was strict. Strict in the sense that if before embarking that boat, you tell all your cast and crew that these are the things you must do to enter this boat before we move to point B. They will surely do that. But when you now have greenhorns, those people that just want to work because they want to just earn something to manage your production, and they see artists that they think are popular, they intimidate them. Sometimes they cannot speak to them the way they are supposed to act, like a manager. And it happens. Probably that is exactly what happened there. From what I heard from that young man that is the boat driver, he asked a particular person to put on the jacket and he refuses. He shouldn't have been the one to do that. The production manager should tell him, please give all of them jacket, put on your jacket.
Put his foot on ground.
You don't have right to ignore such rules in a proper production where you have matured hands working. So it's just unfortunate. I don't think the blame should be on the producer or the boatman. It's an accident, but it's something that is good to happen so that we can learn from it.
Okay, now, like what you said, the production manager should be held responsible for this.
When I say
but the Actors Guild of Nigeria, America Rollers, is actually saying that they might be suing the producer, Amanda Luke. So going in by that, how do you that?
I disagree with the idea of the word suing.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an accident. It was not deliberate. And
that's suing for negligence now.
Negligence,
that led to the loss of lives.
I don't think it's necessary. It's an accident. Even if you sue, I don't see how that case will flow. Because one, in a production, there's supposed to be rules and regulation.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be rules and regulation, and these rules and regulation have to be adhered to. And who are able to formulate this? Is the production, the producer, the Producers Guild, the AMP, Association of Movie Producers, so to say.
Yeah.
They are the ones to get these things on ground. And the producers are supposed to register officially before embarking on the production so that they'll be reminded of the rules and regulation.
Like register fresh?
No, when I say register, like I was telling us sometimes in the forum, we're supposed to have what they call the production sheet.
Yeah.
In the production sheet, you have the name of the cast and crew.
Yeah.
Because all the cast and crew, they belong to guilds. And these guilds, they have their rules and regulation, which they must adhere to in every production. And before you register any artist to come on set, you must have all these things on ground. They have to sign that they must obey the rules and regulation of that set. For instance, in a production, you are not supposed to ask for a particular thing that the producer cannot produce or cannot give. Yeah. So he is the one to tell you, this is what I will. So if you don't want it, fine. If you want it, you go on set and work. Okay. So when you now say you want to sue the producer for negligence, from which part are we taking it from? Is it from the rules that is on ground that was not adhered to? Or is it that he told the artists to just go without telling them to wear jackets? There must be certain areas we must hold on to before we now talk about suing. But if it's something we can settle within ourselves, we should come together and set up a committee to look into this matter properly before we now talk about any other legal aspect to be taken. Because one, the producers, like I said, they're in charge of the production. The actors, they are raw materials.
Very well.
Thank
Very
you.
well. All right, cool. So we are looking at the safety of cast and crew in Nollywood. Now, this incident exposed a whole lot, like I did say. And for the first time I heard exposés like some crew members, the PMs, the PAs, and what have you, for days, like 10 days, 15 days, as the case may be, are paid like 10,000 naira, which, if you ask me, is so is the definition of being underpaid, underemployed, as the case may be. Yes,
you are correct.
We now heard about welfare as well. That some cast and crew are ushered into the location and not being fed. They don't see nothing to eat. Some even say, "Oh, you came late." Some PMs and what have you say, "Oh, you came late, so why are you even demanding for food?" Those that have been here working, they've not eaten. You just keep. I mean, is this fair? I mean, going by the rules and regulations of the guild.
You see, the truth is that the film business, like every other business, like pure water, sales of pure water, we have a lot of people that just come in because they say the thing is thriving, and they do anything they like. Originally in a production, even some better productions, you don't talk about welfare. It's compulsory. You have your welfare like, they prepare it like, what they call it, a buffet. You have your welfare ready. When you're on set and you finish production, you go straight to where the food is and dish your food. That is how it's done originally. But because we have a lot of people that come into production with 1 million to produce a film, which is not proper, and they have people that they beg as relations to come and act, and they get some relations to come and become their crew members. What do you expect from such a production?
So what can be done now to overhaul this?
The truth of the matter is that the Association of Movie Producers, we know what we are supposed to do, and I believe we can do it even better because of this thing that just happened.
Do you see this one, you know, enabling them do it now, triggering that
Yes,
movement? Okay.
I would say yes. Yes, in the sense that I remember speaking to my national president on this issue, and she told me she's aware and that they are yet to get a lot of things done, and they are yet to come back to tell the public their own decision concerning what happened in that production. What happened there happened to everybody. We have all feeling the pain because we lost some colleagues there. Unfortunately, it's not something that one can just see as something that he should glorify himself with, that it has happened. It can happen to any other person, and it can happen to any other set. But one thing is that when things like this happen, we learn from it, and we learn from it in a very proper way. For instance, after this time now, I believe everybody will now come back and now settle down to talk about how production is supposed to be done, how we're supposed to behave in a production. Even I was even suggesting an insurance policy. But even when you talk about the insurance policy, there are certain negligence you show or you portray in a particular act that the insurance will not buy to. They must ask some questions. For instance, he was not wearing a jacket. No insurance will want to come in for that.
Because he wasn't wearing a jacket. And that seemed suicidal.
You know, so it's a suicidal act, you know, so, but after now, at least, when we are going for production, we must know that if you are shooting in a particular area, certain things must be done. For instance, if you are shooting anything like a night scene, like I've witnessed before, you're supposed to go to the nearby police station to report to the production that we are shooting in this area and that we just need your protection. Yes, the police, they do. They come around. I've been in 1 or 2, 3 sets that we had to go to the station to report that we're shooting in this area. For instance, that time in Lekki, the police will come in. They will patrol that area to make sure that the place is secured. We are going to the river bank to do, we shot Neka, the pretty serpent, in a river bank. We had to call the natives there to come around to stand by because we may need their assistance.
Very well. And that is welfare.
And that day we had a problem.
Okay.
I never knew that they're saying like a mermaid or somebody that is a marine, somebody, you know. I discovered that one of my artists was just walking into the river. And dragging her was very strange. You couldn't drag her because she became very...
And just imagine you guys were having those custodians there.
That's what I'm saying. So all these things, in Nollywood, when we started, we were doing things properly.
Are we saying here it will be safe to say before you go into any production, there must be a certain amount of money on ground, so that we don't have this low production, low cost, we can't hire this, we can't hire that, because what you just said now is what should entail in this business. Because if what you just said now was available there, like they had like if they were having live divers, lifeguards or divers with them,
some of these things sometimes are not paid for. Some of these things cannot be paid for.
Okay.
Some of these things are provided by through goodwill, through the approach of the producer to a particular, like I told you about the police now. I have to be honest with you then. The police don't ask you for a dime.
Okay.
You just go and report that we're having a production in this area.
And they're coming to help protect.
They'd come. But really, when you talk about production costs, we have low and high production costs.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And what we have now is more of very, very low production costs because, one, there are no jobs.
Wow.
Many people now come into the industry, they want to become star overnight.
But Nollywood is said to be booming. So how come now you're having more low production?
Yeah, you see, talking about booming, the viewership and the outsiders, you see, is a, I don't know how to put it. Most of the time, we don't tell the truth about what is happening in the industry.
Make believe?
Make believe, I think that is the word.
So the whole sold out in 1 week at the cinema, 100 million and all that stuff.
A lot of things are involved. A lot of things, because one, you see, some of our productions, the artists, the cast and crew, they suffer a lot. Because one, they want to be employed. They need jobs.
Yeah.
And some of these producers that manage to get something somewhere to produce, they take undue advantage. So it's proper for us to have a way of telling anybody that wants to go into production, let know your production cost.
I think that should be a law in the...
It should be a law, and that the government has to come in. Sometimes the industry has become so big that the government has to come in. Yeah, it has to regulate it. Go on. I don't know of Ghana, but I knew we are the ones that even taught the Ghanaians how to shoot film. But I'm sorry to say that they are better off now because one, the government is involved.
Structure-wise.
Structure-wise, they're involved structure-wise, you see. So the government we have the what they call it, the body, the censors board.
Yeah.
What is the work of the censors board? What is the work of the film corporation?
Yeah.
They are supposed to organize seminars, talk shops, to educate the industry and then come up with some policies that will guide in these areas.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm communicating. We should have all these things on ground so that the moment we have it, when we finish such a forum, we now post it to the Producers Guild. The Actors Guild, yes, Actors Guild, they don't have any say in production because one, like I told us, the actors are raw materials. Yeah, they are raw. It's not a derogatory word.
I know.
It's just trying to mention the functions.
Yeah, the functions of
the people that look for the money to produce these films are the producers.
Yeah.
They should be allowed to come up with these policies. They should be given the law, the rules and regulations on how they should produce a film.
Right.
If they must produce. Then if there's an actor that now comes to get money, some of the actors are part of producers too. They're the Association of Movie Producers. They should come up with such solutions in the different meetings we normally have.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, sir. I really wish I had time, because there's a whole lot to talk about as regards the safety of cast and crew in Nollywood, because it's, like you said, it's a big industry right now.
It is.
Every Dick and Harry is coming on board. It has to be sanitized.
Exactly.
It has to make sense. So I have to check such mishap like happened a week ago, not happening any longer. But trust me, hopefully sometime, somehow, I will bring you back here from your very tight schedule.
You're always welcome.
To join me.
Thank you.
So
and I'm always happy to talk to my viewers.
Absolutely. He's a veteran. Yeah. The great Abacha, For those kids that we need to let them know.
Alba.
The great guy that acted, Abacha, yes.
That's a stubborn
grasshopper, yes. Way back in time. So all we'll be saying right here is to make sense of our industry. It's a billion naira spending industry. having people die here and there really makes no sense. So how to sanitize it and make it real and keep everyone alive was the essence of this interview this morning right here on the Saturday show. Once again, Sam, thanks so much for coming through.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me for this interview, and I appreciate the concern of the viewers for following up of what is happening. But I will let you know that after now, a lot of corrections will be made.
Okay.
We are very, very sorry for what happened.
All right.
Thanks for sympathizing with us.
Thanks so much.